All right. Hello, friends. We are about to get started here with this IG Live. I'm going to give folks a moment or two to hop on, and I'm going to give Courtney a moment to hop on. Hi, Courtney. See you here. If you will go ahead and request to join the video, I will add you in here. So Courtney is a health and life coach, and oh, here we are. And she has been working with me through an independent study, the Intuitive Business Accelerator material, and I wanted to chat with her here today to have her share more about her experience. Oh, there she is.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really good. Great to see you.
Welcome, welcome to your first Instagram Live.
Thank you.
Now my second first with folks today, so I feel like I don't really know what, but I'm happy to be facilitating this experience.
Yeah.
So for anyone joining live, we have Courtney here. Courtney has been working with me through an independent study of the Intuitive Business Accelerator materials, and that program is something that I offered this summer, the independent study. And so I wanted to get her here and have her share a little bit more about her story, where she's at in her coaching and business journey, why she decided to work with me in this program, and what she's learned so far about herself. And yeah, well, we'll get to that when we get there. So Courtney, do you want to just briefly introduce yourself to folks who are new to you?
Sure, yeah. My name is Courtney Ashworth. I am a holistic health and wellness coach. Do you want me to just go into how I began working with you, or?
She's like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'd love to hear, like, for context for people who maybe are new to you or don't know your story. I know you might have some friends and followers joining live, but where are you at in your business journey right now? So you're a health and wellness coach.
Mhm.
Where are you at right now in that journey?
Yeah. So I have been working with clients one-on-one. And I guess I would say where I'm at in the journey is I love coaching. I love working with like whatever my clients want to bring to me. But right now I'm kind of figuring out my own journey of like where I like my vision for my business, where I want to be, the clients that I want to be, I guess, sort of calling into my business.
Yeah. So you're in this process, and that's like one of the reasons that we've been working together and what we've been working on of, okay, I know this coaching thing is more than just a hobby for me. I know that it's something that I'm passionate about, that I'm even good at, that I've had success with folks one-on-one. Now I want to get really refined on how do I make this into a business? How do I make this into more than a business, make this into a career?
Yeah, exactly. I think when I first got my coaching certification, like I knew I wanted it to be a business full time, like eventually, but I thought, oh, I'm going to dabble with this for a while. It's going to be a hobby at first, but I just didn't realize how much I would love it and really want it to be more of like a full time thing.
Yeah. And will you share where you were at when we did, well, not when we first connected, because we've been internet connected for a really long time now, but when we first started together, what were you like, what were you thinking? What were you challenged with? What were you looking for when you reached out?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Well,
well, and
I reached out to you with this offer. So when I reached out to you.
I will share, like, I think the way that, because I found you on Instagram, and I think the way that, like, I was looking for some different inspiration. Like, I know people who are health coaches and have, like, different ways that they, like, different processes and things that they do. And I was looking for, like, different ideas. What else is out there? Like, what can I kind of, like, expand for myself? And I came across your stuff and I like followed you for a little while. Then I was like, this girl, I have to reach out to her. Like, I want to be friends with her. I want to work with her. And then I think you had told me that this was like when I was first starting my program. And you told me then that you were starting the mastermind. And I
Mhm.
was just too soon. Like, I know I want to do that, but it's too soon. I wasn't at the place I was fully, like, I was still working full time. I have my toddler, and I was like fully in my certification program.
Yeah.
So I came back towards the end of my certification program and offered it as like, this is an opportunity to work with you one-on-one. The timing could not have been better, because I was starting to accept that I wanted to leave my full-time job. I wanted to stay home with my daughter full-time, and I wanted to, like, yes, I want to be a full-time stay-at-home mom, yet I also want to grow this health coaching business. And I knew I couldn't do that with the models that are out there that are more focused on like hustle culture. Like, I wasn't going to just run a group program that was creating a ton of income that caused me a ton of work. Like, that's something that I see for my future. But right now, the priority to me was figuring out a way to make my business successful in my own way, sustainable, and allow me like plenty of time to be with my daughter.
Yeah.
So when you came to me and offered this like more intuitive business growth, I was like, that's exactly what I need. I needed accountability, and I needed like structure and support to start learning like a different way to create a business.
Yeah. Yeah. So it must have been like around 1 year ago today, because that was, or 1 year ago now, that's when I offered the mastermind the first time around. And I want to just come back to that point, because I've been sharing a lot. So for anyone joining us live, I'm talking to Courtney, who's been working with me for most of the summer, the last few months, in the structure of the Intuitive Business Accelerator. So we're talking about her experience, where she's at in her business, and what's been helping her so far. But I've been sharing a lot about who this program is for. And when we initially connected, when I was initially offering that mastermind, it wasn't the right fit for you. And so this isn't a right fit for someone who is still has like really no idea where they want to go with their intuitive business. If you're just starting out in a coaching program, I would recommend going through the coaching program, or at least getting part of the way through the coaching program, so that you can start to do this work. If you're still in the beginning phases of your journey, or not sure about, okay, do I want to get a yoga certification? Do I want a coach certification? Do I want to be a Reiki healer? We can also talk. I offer single sessions, but IBA is not for you. Now, Courtney came back around. We reconnected in, I think it was late spring of this year. And it was that perfect timing, because you had finished your training. You were feeling this desire, like, I want to leave my full-time job sooner. I want to be able to be there for my daughter. And I'm ready. I've had enough experience in my practice coaching sessions and in my initial client work, so that I can take this and really hone it into a business that works for me.
Yeah, exactly. And I wanted to comment also, I'm glad that you brought up like the other certifications, because I felt like that was almost like a block for me too. Like, I felt this tendency toward, well, I can get other certifications, I can grow in these different ways and learn more, and like eventually my business will fall in my lap. And I realized, I'm thankful that that's not that way. And I was like, yeah, I realized that I would make a better investment of both my like time, money, and energy working with a coach, and really focusing on coaching.
Yeah. And that's something I think we talked about that, but it's something that I get asked a lot, or I see a lot, is that it's certification after certification after certification, and some of it goes to use, but most of it doesn't. There's this belief that if we're really good, and for some people that means getting more certifications, getting more qualifications, I think all of those things are important. Like, having some sort of structure and training and experience is important, but to a point where we don't have people to work with it on these things, or we're just in that like constant student mode, instead of it being a cycle. And something else we've talked about is that as a teacher, as a coach, as someone who's in this leadership position, yes, you always get to learn. That's one of my favorite things about my work, is that I'm constantly learning, and it's like a requirement of the job. That's also how I've structured my business. But if you're just in learning mode, you're not in that sharing, that teaching mode. And so really that's when we step into that role, is when we can help people, when we can put ourselves out there and start actually building businesses. And like I like to say, careers, because it's not just a program or an offering or let me build my website. I want you to have a career.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So what have been your biggest like takeaways from our work together so far? And I mentioned this in text to you before this call, but these could be both practical. I know you've learned a lot from studying your astrology, so we can talk about that, but also like the emotional or energetic takeaways or benefits from working with a coach and working within this structure particularly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's all of it. Like, it's really the reality of everything. Like, it's having the practical side of things, learning a little bit more about like money mindset and launching and just the practical side of running a business. And then also, I mean, learning more about my birth chart. And like, that was part of why I chose to work with you also, because I was like, well, it'll be great business coaching and I'll also get to learn more about astrology. Like, it's still like hitting that like learners, like, and value of mine. But I was surprised. Like, I thought I knew a little bit about astrology, but it's like blowing my mind, because you learn more. Like, once I got to know my birth chart a little bit more, being able to then like sit with it longer and digest it over time, and having the guidance, like where I can text you or like send voice notes to you and be like, hey, like this is what's coming up for me and I think it might be related to this. And just hearing you to be able to like reflect back what I'm saying and ask the right questions and provide that guidance. It's definitely, I would say the word that I feel is like overarching is just the support. Like, I feel so supported by working with you.
Cool. I love to hear that. And I'm glad you like see that and really brought up that astrology piece, because astrology and also human design, although to a little bit lesser a lesser like intensity, tarot, all of these intuitive practices, these witchy tools, they have been a huge part in me finding myself and finding my way in business. And so that's why I teach about them as well, because there are plenty of programs out there that give you the formulas and the structure. And there is that in IBA as well. That's what the core curriculum was created for. And if anyone's just tuning into this, I did a video a few days ago where I talked more about how I formed the core curriculum of this program. You can catch that after this live. But there's so much more, and what's going to create like a really sustainable and also fun business. And I also think the way to success is following your path, is finding, oh, this is what I'm really good at. This is like, these are the pieces of me that, you know, this is how I can describe the different pieces of me, how I operate, how I communicate, how I connect with people. What are my gifts? What are my challenges? And then allowing your business to, especially if you're a coach, teacher, healer, and you are a face of your business. I'm very clear that, and I wrote a post this morning, like, you are not your business. You and your business are separate entities, but you want your business to support you and be a reflection of you. And also, like you've said, be something that supports how you want to live your life, which is really, really important. And I think what some more like, what's the word? I mean, I call it masculine, where it's one size fits all. That's really when I say masculine, I mean, there's many different ways to describe masculine. And then there's also many positive aspects of the masculine. We need the masculine, but most business guidance is very masculine. It's do this way. Here's the formula, get it, and you'll deliver results. And that's just not what I found to be true. It's the combination of the masculine, the formula, and the feminine, the intuition. How can I make this my own way? that delivers success.
Yes, and I think that's part of why like I wanted to work with you also is like I've my job is my prior job is very masculine, and I've spent a lot of my life kind of, I mean, I think like most of us, because we have a very masculine culture. So like
Yeah.
I've spent my life kind of like doing what the next step is. Like these are my goals and these are the steps that I need to take there. And I've kind of always, it's worked well for me. Like I've been successful. Like I'm not saying that it didn't go well, but it wasn't enjoyable. Like it didn't leave me with that like feeling that I'm in alignment, that I'm doing the things that are bringing me joy, that I'm proud to talk with my daughter about. So being able to make that transition, I knew like if I did it on my own, I knew I could figure it out. Like I knew there's enough information out there that I could figure out how to run a business and probably be pretty successful. But I didn't know that I would have, like without having the support of a coach, I didn't know if I would have that ability to really make it more intuitive and make it mine and lean into my own strengths, my own values.
Yeah. Anything else that you want to share that around like specific takeaways you've had either from your birth chart or from some of the like business structures work that we've done? Also, is it like I want to use this opportunity to like shine the light on you. Like, what have you accomplished in the last few months of us working together?
Well, we can definitely go into that. I did ask you ahead of time. Like, I was curious if you wanted to like dive into the birth chart a little bit more and talk about like, since it's Virgo season, like maybe talk about that in the birth chart, whatever you feel.
Yeah. Let's do that. That sounds fun. I did just pull up your birth chart because I was like, I want to have it in front of me if we're going to talk about this. So for everyone listening, I'll give like a high level view of the signs that I look at, especially when it comes to business. And then maybe let's talk about Virgo because that's the season we're in and that's the energy we are exploring explicitly this month. And for those who are tuning in, your Stellar Center is my monthly membership program that's all about astrology, human design, tarot, these like witchy practices, these intuitive practices. If you don't like the word witch, maybe examine that belief or that feeling, but intuitive practices. And it's a space for personal inquiry and development. And I really created your Stellar Center because like Courtney I found that astrology was best integrated. I learned it best and learned from it best when I was taking it in bite by bite and exploring it in my own chart. So that's what we do in your Stellar Center. And as part of the Intuitive Business Accelerator, you get access to 3 months of your Stellar Center. And we have a lot of exciting calls coming up that are meant to help you like fast track your understanding of your birth chart, your human design, and also your shadow. Those are some of the concepts that we're going to be exploring in your Stellar Center and IBA together. So Courtney is an Aries sun, Virgo moon, Sag rising, which maybe if you know anything about astrology, you're like, yes, I can feel her like amazing fire on this live already. And some of the other placements that I look at in the chart for especially for business purposes are the Mercury, where your Mercury placement is, and yours is in Taurus, Courtney. Mercury is how we communicate. It's also like the mind. So very helpful when it comes to marketing yourself and not like marketing, but like really how you communicate in business. Mars, your action, your aggression, how you move forward. Your Mars is in Aquarius. And then the other 2 placements we like to look at are Saturn, that's your life's work. Your Saturn is in Capricorn, as is mine, as is many folks in our same generation. And North Node in Aquarius. So, oh, and what else did we say? We said your Midhaven was in Virgo too. That's why we were also exploring. So Midhaven, I actually have a whole blog post on this one. Midhaven is another point we look at for business because it's the point at the top of your chart. And it says MC if you're looking at your own chart. It's like your most public facing, it's your public face. And so it often speaks to our career or our public lives. So Virgo, as we've learned this month, Virgo is the archetype is the virgin, the martyr, but also the healer, which I think is maybe like a lesser known side of Virgo. Most people see like the perfectionism, or they think virgin, and that's just very confusing. Some positive sides of Virgo are this sign is an earth sign, super detail oriented and able to get stuff done. All earth signs have that capacity: Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. And especially Virgo likes to get into detail, sometimes likes to be behind the scenes, would prefer to be helping someone, again, that healer archetype, versus like a Leo who might be wanting to perform, or even I would say like a Libra who might want to be in connection, but also is more of like, likes to be the face. So that's some of the like, and let me know if there's anything that I've missed that you've really picked up on from studying it. Shadow sides of Virgo, which I know this all too well because my South Node is in Virgo. And my 12th house has a Virgoan flavor to it, is perfectionism, is martyrism, like always putting someone else first to the extent where you burn yourself out or you forget your true purpose. So that's really what we look at, and then we can apply it to you, and we can look at you. You have a Virgo moon, which is your feelings, your emotional world. And some people even say, I like this explanation of your moon being your more of your soul, whereas your ego is, or your sun is like your ego, your personality. Your moon is a deeper part of you. It's where you might find more fulfillment. So super important to look at when we're thinking about, how do I create a career, a business that I love, that really lights me up? And then for you, Courtney, too, like we said, that Midhaven in Virgo, which is that point of forward facing, like your public face. And I know that this has resonated with you. So I'm curious what pieces of the Virgo energy have specifically like stood out to you, or even stood out in a way that you're like, oh, that's interesting, and I can see how I need to either watch out for this or apply this, lean into this in my work.
Yeah, I mean, everything that you just said, like literally every word resonates for me, because I definitely have that. I mean, the shadow side of it is like immediate, like that's what we always look for within ourselves, right? Is like the negative, or the shadow side. Like I often just get hung up on like perfectionism and the detail oriented and requiring that structure. And so kind of learning more about that part of it, and then the other side of Virgo as well, I feel like it's really helped me get to know myself a little bit more and feel more comfortable with saying like that is a part of me, and I can use it as a strength.
Yeah. And two, for you, and this is what I like, I feel like Virgo and also Aquarius in this way, and you do have some of that Aquarius in your chart, both of them like to be of service in different ways. Like Aquarius likes to see how this is going to change the world, how this is going to help like a social cause, or, you know, pursue some sort of social justice agenda, help people. But both of those signs really need that and will thrive off of that. And so I think that's important to know, of making sure, like, obviously you're in a place of wanting to help people, but something that I see in a lot of folks, especially when they're launching their businesses or trying to grow their businesses, is we get caught up in the business. We get caught up in the sales, in the marketing, in the finances, in the, oh my gosh, scarcity mindset, fear, are these clients going to come to me? And then we're still loving the work when we do it, but we get the bigger picture gets lost. So that's like one just like takeaway from me to you, is like reminding yourself to stay, like, keeping the service, keeping it to support you because you don't want to go into that martyrism, but also keeping that of focus, so that's like a North Star. And it's funny because we didn't really touch on this, but I brought in Aquarius obviously for a reason, and your North Node is in Aquarius. And the North Node is what's going to bring us the most joy, karmically what we're evolving towards in life. So there's definitely this theme of like service and letting that guide you or be like an overarching vision for it to be a healing, a helping space within your work. Not getting lost in the sauce.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I think that that was like an important reminder for me that it is about service, and like that is part of something that like my soul is called to. And it's not like, I think when you're in this space, like it can quickly become like, okay, it's like I'm doing this for money. This is my business. Like there has to be money attached to it. But that can make you feel a little bit like weird. Like it's just kind of like an icky feeling, I guess. And once I remind myself that it is for within service for my clients, I feel so much better about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Well, I'd love to hear if there's anything that you would say to someone who's maybe considering this but not totally sure if it's, you know, just not totally sure. What might you say to them?
Do it.
I was kind of expecting like some well situation, but like great, I'll take it. Sit with your intuition and then do it. But really, if you're considering this, if you're feeling called to this, if you're resonating with Courtney's story, or any of the other like client stories that I've shared, any of my stories that I've shared, give yourself the opportunity to sit with, is this a good next step for me? As I've shared, I'm super proud of this program, and I'm excited. All of the calls, all of the group calls, all of the core curriculum will be run live. And so there's going to be this incredible live energy, not just from me, but from the other women in the group. And Courtney's going to be joining us in this round, so you'll get to know her even better. But do yourself the service of allowing yourself a space to sit with this. And even if it feels a little scary, even if it feels like a little outside of your comfort zone, a little bit more of an investment than you're ready or, ready to make, give yourself that opportunity to decide. And you can do that by booking a call with me, and together we'll decide, we'll talk about if it's a good fit for you.
Yeah. And I would just add also, I was joking, but I would also add to that, like, I think it's important as coaches that we experience being coached. And when I say supported by you, it's not only like within everything that I'm doing for my business, but also within my life and health, and having that support, understanding like what it means to go deeper. Like I can do a lot of my own self-reflection. Like I journal, I have my own practices, but when you have a coach that you're working with, it just allows you to get so much deeper. And so, I would definitely encourage anyone in this space to work with a coach that you feel aligned with, that you feel like that you're like intuitively drawn to, like that there's something about that person that's calling to you. So definitely. And this particular container, I think, is going to be so great. I'm excited for, like you said, the energy of the whole group, the other women that are there, and having the opportunity to both learn from you and from each other and being able to go through it together.
Yeah. I'm really glad that you brought that up around being coached, because that's something we see a lot in, and this is connected to like money mindset, which we talk about in IBA. If you have never had the experience of being coached, and I honestly would not count peer coaching in your training as part of that, because you purchased the training, you didn't purchase the coaching. And there's something powerful when you go in and say, I want to do this. And perhaps like if you're someone who struggled with food issues or gut issues or a hormonal, cycle, you did work with a coach on that. That's great, because when you experience it, you embody the value of it. You understand the value of coaching. And it's pretty hard, even if you have clients coming back to you that are like, oh my gosh, I'm experiencing this great success. Like your coaching is so helpful. Your work is so helpful. These healing sessions are so helpful. If you haven't firsthand experienced it at least once, but I also think it's something good to kind of touch up on as the time goes by, as your work evolves, But if you haven't experienced it at least once, it's going to be really hard to sit there and ask someone for whether it's $40, $400, or $4,000, because you don't firsthand know the value in your work. So that's another, I'm really glad you brought that up, and another great takeaway for anyone, whether you're considering IBA or anything else. Invest in your industry and be a recipient, be a student, be a receiver of whatever services that is, or that you're hoping to offer, because that will help you embody the value, which makes sales and marketing and promotion all that much easier when you really know the value of your work.
Yeah, definitely. And I didn't mean to shy away from your question earlier. I will share kind of what I'm working on right now in my business. I think in my coaching certification program through Chris Kresser, Adapt, it was very comprehensive. They did have a component about marketing and about creating your niche. And I kind of like bounced through a lot of that because it was like assignments, and that's what you do. Like, I have an assignment, so I'm going to work on it and get this complete. And I've basically thrown a lot of that away and kind of gone backwards and said, like, slowed it down. And I think that's the other thing that I do love about this particular container is it's 8 months long. Mm-hmm. And it gives you so much more space to really like nurture your business like you're growing a baby almost. And that's what I feel like I've started doing. I had to get out of that mindset of like, I need to put something together. Like, I need to get this program together because I'm not going to start making money until I put it together. Like, I've totally slowed it down. I've been working on a very unique program that is going to offer space for people to dive into like their emotional and mental wellness, and really I want to give them that space, the space that I have with you, that I've been able to slow down my process and work on this business. I want to then turn around and give that to my clients. So that's what I've been working on right now.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful. And it's interesting that you bring this up, because I had this question a few days ago with someone who was interested in the program. Most coaching programs at this point, or teacher trainings, do have some sort of module of business, anything extensive. A weekend Reiki training probably doesn't, but something that's a few months or a year long, like either of the coaching programs that we went through, has a business module. But you don't know, like, you're just focused, you're in that student mode of like, I'm going to get this done. And sometimes you need multiple iterations and client work under your belt to know, this is what I want to do, this is who I want to help. So if you did go through an IIN or Adapt or another program, and you are, excuse me, you are maybe feeling like you should have this figured out already, that you should have gotten that in that experience, you didn't have to. I didn't. I had to go through this many times and work with my own teachers and coaches to get to that place and have that space, like you said, to really nurture it, to gestate it, and to think more. Now that you've gotten the training under your belt and had some sessions under your belt, you can more clearly see who you want to help.
Yeah.
Also, like, I feel like the very beginning of most programs are like, what's your niche? And I was like, I don't know. When I was going through health coach training, I was just like, I like health and I want to help people.
Yeah.
Gut health, because that's something I've struggled with. And also it's pretty popular. And I'm going to put weight loss on my marketing materials, and energy and stress, because that seems to be popular. So yeah.
Like, this is a functional health coaching program. That's my niche. I'm a functional health coach. That's it.
Yeah. So Courtney, thank you so much for taking the time. Folks, go follow Courtney. She'll be linked in this video if you're not following her already, and watch her journey. Get excited for what she's putting out in this world. And especially those of you who are at a similar stage in your process, watch someone else grow. It's so inspiring. Don't just, I mean, you can look to me, but I was in your shoes 6 years ago. And so I'm pretty far removed now. Not that I, like, that's the point of now I'm coaching on it. I can help you with it in this container, but especially on Instagram, where we can see more bite size and behind the scene pieces of people's process. it can be really helpful. So connect with Courtney. Courtney, thank you for being here. I'm excited for everything that you are birthing into this world, and here's to our mutual successes.
Thank you. Thank you. This was a lot of fun.
Cool. All right, folks. So the Intuitive Business Accelerator is enrolling now through Monday the 20th. So there's a few more days left to apply. And you apply by going on the website, which is, you can find anywhere if you're in any of my pages. There's a link to book a connection call. So book a call to chat with me. Again, I don't want just anyone saying yes to this. I don't want you spending your money if it's not a right fit. So let's connect, let's chat, make sure that it's a good fit. And then our first call as a group is our Read Your Birth Chart call on the 24th. So that's 1 week from today. Also, if you do have questions about the experience, can people reach out to you, Courtney?
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
Okay, great. All right, friends, thanks so much for being here. Courtney, have a beautiful rest of your day. Everyone have a beautiful rest of your day. And I would love to connect about IBA.
Bye.
Bye.